This week I did the difficult project, case project 3-5, split the bill app. This app splits the bill, including a tip, among members of your party. Um, so we've got all of our conditions right here. And on top of doing the math and splitting the bill, adding the tip, we also have to have a spinner control. Additional conditions are use a theme, spinner prompt, string array, and a hint property. Okay, so here's my main XML. I've just got a simple, welcome page pretty much. Title, image, and then button to get me to the next page. Let's look at the Java class for that. Oh, first let's look at our theme. So I just chose base theme material 3 dark, and that's what automatically did the button color, border, and background. This wasn't working whenever I kept running it. If I selected it from more themes, I had to manually type this in to the Java or the themes XML up here, and that got it to work. I don't know why, but I got it to work that way. So this is all just the generic code that is created on start, except for here on down. This is the code for that button on the welcome page, and all this is doing is setting the button up, setting an on-click listener, and then once that is clicked, then it's going to send us or start a new activity, or the second page, as I'm going to refer to it on accident a whole lot. So calc screen is our second. Here's how that's set up. I guess we'll go back here. All of the images that I have in my projects are licensed for free. I don't want to get in trouble for posting that. I just edited and added these on here in Photoshop, but I thought it was kind of funny. But let's go back to this. This is where the real meat and potatoes of the app is. I've got my generic text views right here, just asking the question. Here and here, I've got my inputs. So, and you see the text behind here is the hint, and I've got that set up in my strings and editor. But basically, that's where a user clicks, that text disappears, and they're able to enter in their stuff. This text box is for doubles, and this one is for integers, because if you think about it, you're not really going to have a decimal of a person unless you're a psychopath. And up here, you're obviously going to have a dollar, so a double. Down here, I've got my spinner control. You don't have a hint for these like you do up here. Instead, you have what's known as a prompt, as far as I can tell. But that's not working. I set that up, and I know I set it up correctly, but I still couldn't get it to work. So instead of using the prompt to be the first thing that they can see and, that asks the question, I had to set it as position 0 in the string array. And I'll go over that here in a little bit. I've got my button down here, and then I've got 3 text views that are set to invisible. And they've got their pre-populated strings in them that I've already set up in the strings page as well, but those will change once we get to the code. So let's go over here. All right, so I've got all my variables for the starting ones at least. I've got for my spinner service choice, then the number of people in the group. I've got my default tip percentage, which is 18% or 0.18 as a double. My doubles for the total bill, the subtotal, which is the price per person before tip, and then the tip total, which is the tip amount of the entire bill, and then the per person cost, which includes their share of the bill and the tip. This is the generic code that's created. I created this to pull in the information from the inputs. Down here, I'm creating the functions for the button that we saw and setting the on-click listener. Once that happens, it's going to find those text boxes I was talking about that I had hidden. Then we go down here to the on-clicks. So once the user clicks it, it's going to pull out the numbers from the strings that they entered, and it's going to use it in all of my formulas coming up. So tip total is going to be the total bill times a percent tip, which is 18%. Then we're going to have subtotal, which is the group cost divided by the number of people. And then the per person is the subtotal plus the tip total divided by the number of people in the group. Down here, sort of space, I was having issues getting the It just didn't look pretty, if I'm being honest. So I had to look up how to get stuff in the format I needed, and this was the quickest solution. So I set up a decimal format, called it USD for US dollar, and just set it up this way. Um, Going forward, and I'll call on that down here. Service choice, getting the selected item to the string, so we could use that later on if we wanted. Tip results, I'm setting these boxes and subtotal and total result, those boxes I set to invisible. This is setting them to visible once that button is clicked. After that happens, they're all populated with that text. And down here you see I'm calling on the decimal format for US dollars for the tip total, and same for the rest of these. So let's go over to themes, and I showed you this earlier, where I had to type that in manually. Strings, all of this is stuff I just did from my editor, except for my array. And this is what I was talking about. I had to put this at position 0 because the prompt wasn't working, or maybe I just wasn't using it correctly. I don't know. But there's my array with 4 values, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And that's all there is to that one. So let's go ahead and run this. I've got it set up on API 24, but I'm running it on the Pixel 6 Pro API 33. There's my front page. Calculate your bill now. Enter the bill total. We're going to say $50. And we're going to say 5 people. And we'll say the surface was poor. Hide that. All right, now these boxes are visible. It's done our math for us. Everything seems to be checking out. And that's all it is. That's it for this week. Thank you.